Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Violent Hippie Podcast. Tonight, I have my co-host, Rachel motherfucking Fiscus.
Hello.
And our special guest is Buck Grant.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, so let's get into it. This is where Rachel, my co-host Rachel, is in training. And so, I told her, stop with these fucking long-winded stories that no one gives a shit about, okay? And let's try to stay on topic about jiu-jitsu, martial arts, that kind of stuff. It's okay if we get a little bit off topic here and there, but we're going to try.
Do our best.
Yeah, we're going to do our best.
I'm just going to sit here and not say anything.
You better fucking talk about that.
Seriously about that.
This goes from 100 to 0 to 100.
That's how I normally do it.
All right.
And then back down to 0.
Back down to 0.
All right. So, and we got to make the focus more about our guests rather than Rachel and her stupid fucking stories.
It's always about the guests. My stories aren't stupid. Stupid.
All right.
This is going to be fun.
So welcome, Buck. How are you?
Good, man. Good. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you. So give your little introduction about yourself, a little bit about yourself for the people that don't know you.
Yeah, so I'm Buck Grant. I've been doing mixed martial arts since UFC 2. I'm 30 years old.
You're 30 years old?
Yeah, 30 years old for the 18th time, yeah.
Nice.
48.
Okay, wait, I was going to say.
48 just this Monday. So,
nice.
yeah.
Happy birthday,
Thank
belated.
You. Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Good way to celebrate the
48. 48, still looking jacked.
I'm
still
doing my best, man.
Feeling fit.
I'm doing my best.
Out here still training.
Still training, yeah. Trying to keep
Nice.
up with these young bucks, man.
You think you're gonna be training into old age?
Yeah, I think so. I've had to modify so much in the last couple of years. 2 years ago, I was feeling like I was on my peak, and then I started running into a bunch of injuries. Tore tricep tendon, meniscus tear, just kind of falling apart.
That's just a part of training, though.
It's true.
Even
Yeah.
as I've been training, competitively since 23, something like that. I don't know, and I've had a bunch of injuries throughout it, so I don't think that's really an age thing. I'm sure it doesn't get better.
It's getting better,
as
yeah.
you
Totally
age.
an age thing.
Totally.
No. It's an intensity thing, I think.
Yeah.
It's just how hard you're training. Shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's the mileage you put on your body.
Right.
It's.
But as you get older, you start to learn, all right, I'm not gonna go with some spazzy white belt or something like that, or someone who's real intense training. Maybe I'll avoid them or something like that.
Yeah. I'll pick and choose my rounds as I go. I'm not even ashamed to do that anymore.
Well, the longer you train, the less worried you are about your ego.
No,
you know who you are. You're comfortable with who you are, what you can do, and all that shit.
Yeah,
so
it's not like the Highlander movie where that guy's gonna tap me out and absorb all my power. You know what I'm saying? I still keep my belt even if you catch me.
So you gotta tap fast, train tomorrow, right?
That's right, man. Trying to do this as long as I can. I want to be on the mats for the rest of my life to some degree. I love this thing. I got into it when I was a kid, being a big old Bruce Lee fan, and then I've just never stopped. Somehow it turned into a job. Still trying to figure that out. The people still pay me for this stuff. You know what I mean? But man, 30 years of doing mixed martial arts. Started back when UFC 2 came out. I was fighting Muay Thai back then. Cross training jiu-jitsu in between fights. So I would put the gi on in between Muay Thai fights, and then a fight would pop up, take the gi off. And
So where are you from?
I'm from here.
Okay.
Born and raised, Chesapeake, Virginia.
Cool. Oh, nice.
All my family's here. I was training with, you ever heard of a guy named Frank Cucci?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Frank was
And Links.
Where did you go to high school?
Deep Creek.
Okay, cool.
I
Did you wrestle in high school?
I went to elementary school at Deep Creek for a year.
A year, really?
Yeah.
How did you end up there?
We lived in. My mom was dating my stepdad at the time, and he lived in Deep Creek.
Okay.
And so we moved over there with him, and I went to. I think I did second grade in Deep Creek. The Deep Creek Hornets.
The Hornets, yeah. Purple and white, baby.
Yeah.
Purple and white.
Yeah, I played football.
I cannot believe you remember your school colors in elementary school.
That's about the only thing I remember about high school.
Elementary school, not even high school,
Yeah,
though.
purple and white all the way through.
Oh, it was purple and white all the way? Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I went there, and then I went to Indian Lakes Elementary School in Kempsville.
Oh, so are you local? Are you actually
I'm from here.
Oh,
Yeah.
get out of here. One of the few and proud, man.
I'm from here, too.
Are you really?
Yeah, I went to Cox High School in Virginia Beach. But I mean, y'all people from Chesapeake, y'all wish y'all were from Virginia Beach. I'm actually from Virginia Beach.
Virginia Beach was like going to the city for us.
Like for real. And, when I lived in Virginia Beach, I lived in Virginia Beach for a long time, and it was like, God, going to Chesapeake, that's like fucking going to a different state.
I know, right? It was like going to the country.
I know. And
this is the only reason why I come to Chesapeake. If it wasn't for Violent Hippie, I never go to Chesapeake.
But I'm telling you, once you live out here, and you're like, oh, okay, it's like it's the same shit, and it's better.
Yeah,
it's way better. I like hate going to Virginia Beach now. I'm serious. Like it's way better.
Rachel looks like she has an opinion about that.
I'm not even. I'm just gonna stay quiet
because she only comes. She just says she only comes here. So she just comes here and then leaves.
Like I said, I went to Cox High School. I didn't even like go cross like Taste and Limited on Shore Drive. Like past that was like foreign.
And I don't even live here. I live in Kempsville. So it's like, but it's right on the, Kempsville's right on the edge of Chesapeake.
Yeah,
so
Chesapeake enough.
It's basically Chesapeake.
It's only 10 minutes from
enough.
Chesapeake here, but having MASF here, having MASF here, and then like
you have a bedroom upstairs. So you definitely live here.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, there's all kinds of shit here. Like, but you think about like this is the country. There's nothing out here, but then it's like there's all the same shit that's in Virginia Beach is here,
like everywhere else.
This isn't far out Chesapeake too. Like if once you get farther out in Chesapeake, it's like
Deep Creek. That's out there. That's a little bit. That's 20 minutes further.
Yeah, we used to get joked living in Deep Creek. I lived in a area called like the Cedar Road area over the military bridge on George Washington Highway.
Yeah,
and we were like the country kids, So when we went to school, like even the teachers were joking us from back the hole, as they used to call it. We were all the country kids coming back into the city part of Chesapeake, which really wasn't any part of Chesapeake. But
so are your parents in the military?
No. I'm one of the few.
Yeah, just a random
Mine
local.
aren't either,
just a random local, just a random local going to a random high school, nerdy skinny kid, getting beat up in high school, needed to figure out a way not to get beat up anymore. So,
is that why you started training?
Yeah, man. I got beat up in my front yard in front of my brothers, trying to defend my brother's honor, so to speak. I'll come outside, my brother's getting picked on by, you know how it was growing up as a kid, like all your friends were the people that you also got in fights with, right? That was just, for me, it was just normal. Like you love that guy, but then next day you guys are getting in a fight. So one of our friends were picking on one of my brothers. I walk out there to kind of push him off. Big kid, his big brother, knocks me on the back of the head, mounts me, and then starts like pounding me on the back, and I had no idea what to do. Even if I was trained in martial arts, not a good feeling.
Were your brothers younger?
Yeah.
Okay.
My brother, yeah. So I had to step up, and I didn't do very well, so I had to figure that out. You know what I mean?
Hey, but look at that changed the course of your life.
It did.
Yeah.
I mean,
isn't that weird?
That is pretty cool to think about.
Yeah. It's like a little bit of pressure.
At the time, it's probably like the worst day of your life.
Man.
But then it just set you up for the rest of your life.
I remember staring in a mirror like afterwards and looking like this ain't never gonna happen again.
I was gonna say it's on how you react to that, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like that could have sent you one of two or multiple directions, but you decided to not be, I don't want to be a victim anymore. I want to fucking, step up and learn this stuff and, defend myself or whatever. Yeah. That, instead of like, that could have just made you super timid and, shy away from any kind of, martial arts or any kind of, confrontation type shit.
Yeah. It's like the only way out was through at that point for me.
There you go.
I was like, I got to look at myself in the mirror for the rest of my life. And if I don't fix this hole in because this is not the last time someone's going to try to like bully you, whether it even be physical, mental, psychological, like at some point you got to learn how to stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
So
I've always thought like it's our experiences that like mold the person that we become, like the relationships we create and the experiences we have. And so like, also like with doing martial arts and stuff, you meet a lot of people and a lot of friends.
Can you say
and all
that again?
No, I thought I'm not supposed to talk.
No, can you say that again?
Why? Okay. I said that it's our experiences and our relationships that we create that mold the person that we become. You're like forever changing.
What the fuck else would it be?
Well, like, what else? There's like other things too. Like, well, like, nothing else. But like, you know what I mean? It's our experiences. So like going outside your comfort zone, like doing new things and stuff. You never know. And things like you said, the littlest thing might change the course of your trajectory of your life.
That's true.
Yeah. But it's
I just feel like the life that we live is,
Whatever
determines the
mindset
life
is-
that we live.
Is
You
the
know,
life.
your like quote is mindset is everything. That's like the same thing I'm saying. Okay,
okay.
don't
Got it.
act like I'm a hippie. You're the hippie.
But it's
I
good.
didn't say you're hippie.
But, it's good to point out because like it's as simple as it seems.
Right? Exactly.
Like how many people are hanging out in really bad environments and then they can't figure out why their life doesn't suck.
Exactly.
I'm like, look at your friends, man. Like your friends are smoking and joking in the corner, and you're like, oh, I
See,
can't
when
figure out
he
why I
says
figured
it, it
out.
makes sense.
Why is the age? Is
Is it the age? Is it because
must
I'm a woman? Like, what the hell?
I don't know. Go make me a sandwich.
Yeah, whatever. I would
Should've
be
used the R
glad to
word.
like just have to cook and not do anything the rest of my
There you
life.
go.
Yeah.
There you
No,
go.
I'm
Good
just
woman.
kidding.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I don't see you being the type. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
You know,
hilarious.
I'm special.
All right. So
I may not be.
So you got beat up in your yard, and that's what sent you on your martial arts journey. Then what from there? What'd you do? Like, how old were you when that happened?
Probably like 14,
Okay.
15. So teenager, starting to kind of get a little bit of an identity.
What did you first start training in?
Karate of all things. So
I did too. It was
yeah,
fucking so
it's
stupid.
horrible. It was like,
So fucking dumb.
yeah. I mean, like great, discipline.
But you
and
feel
culture.
like a badass when you're like a kid doing karate and you're in there and they're like doing katas and you're like, oh man, that guy knows fucking all these katas and he's just
he can break boards,
breaking
Yeah.
boards. And I remember one time they did a demonstration where the karate guy he had the students lay down, this was actually kind of cool. He had the students lay down and he put cucumbers and like pieces of like vegetables like squash or whatever like on their chest, and he would jump around like like that, like and cut
And smash
and
them?
cut
Smash
the
'em?
vegetables on the people's chest
Oh, without hurting them.
without hurting them.
Wow.
And I was like,
Impressive.
That is
"Damn,
impressive."
That was pretty badass.
I would be scared.
I so thought you were going to say that he ate it off of them. Like it
No,
was-
no.
I would be
so weird.
scared. I don't know if I could trust someone to do
I was
that.
just like, damn, this guy's a fucking ninja.
or not. I wouldn't trust.
Which ninja
myself.
shit is cool.
Yeah, for
Weapons shit, ninja shit like that is cool.
Yeah.
But
Doesn't-
like karate, just like fist fighting is, I think it's just garbage.
Wouldn't that person
Yeah.
have to be like really still, like that he was cutting?
Yeah.
So that's why I wouldn't trust myself to lay there.
You would have
Yeah.
moved.
I'm
have
like
ADHD.
Yeah, I have really bad. I have really bad ADHD.
started eating it.
I have really bad ADHD.
Like, is this a salad?
But I had someone on
Delicious.
on Hinge tell me that he was a black belt in karate, and I was like, that does absolutely nothing for me. Like,
Yeah.
like
Goes exactly the other
everyone
way.
was a
My
black belt
vagina
in
is extremely
karate.
dry right now.
Everyone was a black belt in karate when they were 11. Like,
9 years old, yeah.
yeah, that
Created
makes
a
like
desert
does
down there.
nothing.
Yeah.
And I didn't even read the response because I was like, I'm not even gonna waste my time. But like the first sentence was like, oh, I know I wasn't saying blah blah blah. And like I said, I didn't
I
waste my
see
time
you
reading
train.
it.
I'm also a black belt in karate.
It's like, delete.
Cool.
Swipe, swipe, yay.
Gay.
Like, cool story, bro.
Cool story, bro.
Cool story. Nerds. Like nerds.
So you got your black belt in karate at 15 and a half.
Yeah, it was a badass. I was a badass. Chopping cucumbers with my hands. It was great. Man, I felt so good. Yeah. No, I quit it after about a year. I mean, honestly, like,
Good for you.
Yeah, I got out of it way before I was like programmed. You know, what I'm saying?
You would have got beat up worse.
Way worse. Yeah, I was better off
Imagine
without
showing
it.
up to the bully the next time he's in your yard.
Yeah.
And go into my stance.
Prepare for a kata. You just beat your ass again.
Yeah, the mouth again. I was like, wait a minute.
Oh
Damn it.
gosh.
Yeah, no, I quit early because I remember the first time they had a spar, I'm like, this is bullshit. Because it was like, okay, 1 point sparring. So you punch them and you stop and then you reset. And I'm like,
Like that guy that beat my ass did not stop.
yeah, would have been nice if you would have reset, you know? Like, oh, wait, do over. All right, do that again.
Got a point. Okay,
Like,
two,
stop.
three. That's 5 points. Stop.
The match is over, damn it. The fuck
This is
off me.
bullshit.
The fuck off me. No, I got out of it real early. And then I was in.
So what was the first real martial art you did?
So that was training with Frank. So he was a mixed martial artist from the jump.
Wait, so Frank Cucci was doing karate?
No,
Oh,
I left
okay,
karate.
okay.
I left karate.
I was about to say.
No, you about to dog him,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You about
All
to-
right. Carry on,
No,
carry
he
on.
was doing mixed martial arts from in the 90s, but way before that. He was training like Thai boxing and Filipino martial arts. He was one of like the first blue belts in the area, like doing jiu-jitsu. And he was doing the whole thing, stick fighting, full contact fighting. I remember walking into his gym, and the first day there was like a Thai boxing fight going on, right? And I'm like,
You're oh, this is
these
legit.
dudes are fighting.
Yeah.
They're fighting for real. They're trying to knock each other out. I'm like, okay, that's a little bit closer to it. Then UFC 2 comes out. You know, you see Gracie strangling everybody, and then next thing you know, Frank's gone. He comes back. He's doing jiu-jitsu now. And we were just ahead of what everybody else was doing. The people were still doing like kung fu, grown men doing kung fu and, you know, katas and forms and still thinking they can fight. And then, of course, UFC comes and
that
crushes all
McDojo
that.
shit.
The McDojo shit. Now that we joke about it, but now that used to be real for people.
It's still real for people. I see those gyms around still.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just like, who the fuck is going to these gyms?
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're in there, you know, and they got like they probably got like 4 or 5 fucking, or maybe 3, you know, like gamer kids, you know, or something, like someone who's been doing this since they were 4, and like they just like are bought into this weird cult thing.
I wonder how long have younger kids been doing? Because I know like for jiu-jitsu, like a lot of kids, like it's a new thing. Like I feel like really popular for like younger age groups. I wonder how long has that been going on?
Well, I think, you know, I think karate is probably, I mean, it's still a waste of time, but like it's good for teaching kids at least maybe some discipline.
Yeah.
Of like, you know, like the katas, you have to like, you know, at least just getting them to follow along and like do something or something.
Because
I could see some sort of benefit to that.
I would think for a younger kid, it might be good for them to go into that before jiu-jitsu to learn that discipline. Because what if they want to hurt someone? Like, what if they hurt someone?
No, I'm saying like jiu-jitsu wasn't really around back then.
No, it wasn't.
Too much. So like I'm saying at that time I could see like a benefit to it.
Okay.
But now
you wouldn't even?
No, hell no. There's zero.
But I'm just saying, what if some of these
point.
kids like don't have
the kids
self-control?
should do jujitsu.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Have you seen?
I agree.
Some of these
Yeah,
kids
no,
at
I agree.
tournaments?
They're
I think
monsters
they're
now.
sick. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy seeing these kids fucking doing like, you know, good technique.
Yeah.
Like they know what they're supposed to do, and it's funny because you'll see them like some of them like are like have that determined look on their face and they're like focused, and others are just like looking at like the
ADHD.
sideline,
The typical kid, yeah.
But they're still doing it. They
Yeah.
still know what they're
Yeah.
doing and
Yeah.
shit. And I'm just like, wow.
And they're learning all the respect and discipline
yeah.
stuff in jiu-jitsu
for sure.
school,
And self,
too,
like
you know?
I'm just like, you would want a kid to have like self-control, you know, like.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy, like, you know, 15 years from now, where like some of these kids, I mean, they're already just becoming savages,
You
like
see-
the Rotolo brothers. And
Oh
shit,
yeah,
you know?
it's ridiculous.
Been trained since they were kids and just monsters now.
And you see it in the level of mixed martial arts now. Now you're getting, what is the youngest guy in the MMA now? He's like 16, 17
Wow.
in UFC.
Oh,
he just got a
that
contract.
Mexican kid?
Yeah, the Mexican kid.
Yeah.
Like 16,
I think
17.
Yeah, I think he's 17.
Wow.
17. Yeah, he's not even old enough to go to the bars afterwards. But he's fighting at an elite level because he's been rolling since he was a kid.
Wow.
Like a kid. And now the next generation, you got kids starting at 4 or 5 years old, and they're doing a little bit of Muay Thai over here and learning a little wrestling during the summer or whatever. And next thing you know, like by the time these kids get 18, they're going to have, 18 years of mixed martial arts
Yeah.
experience. It's going to be crazy. It's going to look like
Yeah.
a video game
And
in the UFC
I've seen,
now.
I've even, I think you sent me that video of the
Those
kids.
two boys.
There's two
Yeah.
kids fighting MMA, and they were like probably 9-10 years old, something like that. They were fighting MMA in a cage, and they had shin guards on.
No headgear though.
They didn't. Well, they weren't allowed to punch in the head.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't
which
notice that.
which I think is smart.
yeah,
good.
for
Yeah,
sure.
that's really
Yeah,
smart.
for
Like,
sure.
Cause and they were just punching in the chest and in the body, and I was like, okay, like, cause at first when I saw it, I was like I'm all about like, hey, fucking send it, but but the part of me was like,
Hitting the head.
I was like, we'll see,
Yeah.
and when I saw that they were just punching each other in the body, I was like, you know what, that makes sense, like
Yeah,
that
for sure.
that's probably smart because their brains are still developing and
Yeah.
everything like that, and they don't
100%.
want head trauma and stuff,
Definitely.
and but it's definitely a good thing that they're fighting in a cage at that young. I all for it.
Yeah,
100%.
I'm all for it too.
And what did the guy ended up tapping out, the kid put him a guillotine, right?
I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
But what do you think is like the best martial art to learn? Like
Jiu-jitsu.
if you had to pick like 1 and 2 of them.
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Two? You said?
Yeah, if you would
Muay
pick
Thai
2.
and Jiu-Jitsu.
Like not like, but I would like, what about like boxing and wrestling?
No. They're not complete enough.
No.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, because you can't finish.
Boxing is just one dimensional. It's just your hands,
Yep.
and
Yeah,
like a
I
lot
guess
of
that
them
makes
have
sense.
really bad habits of the head movement. You know, like when it's strict boxing. Like whenever I've gone just strict boxing sparring, and you know with strict boxers, their head movement is awesome. But I'm like, if I could fucking knee you in the face, you'd be fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, picking like one, if you got to pick one or two styles, I'm definitely a jiu-jitsu as a base. I found that like when people have a jiu-jitsu base, they can branch off to other things a lot easier.
Yeah.
You know, it might, as long as they're open-minded enough to do it. Like some people get stuck down the path of like, well, I only want to do sport jiu-jitsu. And like, okay, you're going to get to a certain point where that's not going to be self-defense related, but just the live rolling alone, like how many arts do you have where you can go full speed, full power and fight someone and still be relatively safe?
Yeah, and you're not getting like
that's part
super
about it.
injured. You know, it's not super hard impact.
Yeah.
Like Muay Thai is fucking hard impact.
hard.
Like the harder you kick, the harder you fucking feel that on your shins, you know? That shit happens to me all the time. I kick hard as fuck. And if I land on an elbow, my night is fucking ruined, you know? And my week's ruined usually.
Yeah.
Like my foot swells up and shit. It sucks.
Yeah.
And you know, that's the only shitty part about Muay Thai. It's rough. It's harder on your body. But man, like, you know, you've been to Thailand, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I've been to Thailand, and training in Thailand is fucking awesome. And especially if you got a little bit of like some coin in your pocket, you know, because your dollar goes really fucking far over
You
there.
can live like a king or queen over there.
Fuck
Very
yeah.
little money.
And you know, you're talking. You have guys like that grew up in Thailand fighting with 400 plus fights. You know, champions like, and they're holding pads for you for an hour for $20. Holding pads for you for an hour, critiquing your technique. Like you got a fucking master here, just sitting there. No, turn a little bit this. Like my game elevated so much in a month.
Very short period of time.
Yeah.
And if you notice like how the Thais train, like going back to the whole impact on the body, Thais are really smart about their training. You know,
Lots of Thai massages.
It's so cheap too.
yeah.
Massages are so cheap in Thailand.
Chuck wow. Your boy got Chuck wows, all right? I gotta relax.
You gotta relax.
I got a Thai massage. I was like 1:00 in the morning. I was walking the
better
street.
be
This
a
is a really
fucking good
fast.
story.
God damn
Can't wait to hear
it.
this.
I lost.
Can't wait to hear this.
I lost my debit card in Bali, so I kept having to go to the Western Union to get cash. And it was a Saturday night in Bangkok. I'm trying to talk really fast to get the story out.
Bangkok.
But I was walking around Bangkok looking for Bangkok.
Not Bangkok.
Bangkok.
There you go.
All right, whatever. So I was walking around looking for a Western Union at 1:00 in the morning. When I think back, I'm like, this probably wasn't safe. But I got the cash, and then I was on the way back.
None of your stories sound safe to me. Every fucking story I've heard of you, I'm like, how have you not been kidnapped? But I swear to God, people probably are like, they're probably like stalking her to kidnap her, and then they're like, change their mind.
Whatever. Fuck you. Whatever. All right. But anyway, no, I'm smart. Okay. I like whatever. But I was walking back, and the massage place was still open, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go get a Thai massage, and I got a Thai massage at 1:00 in the morning in Bangkok.
Did you get a Chuck wow?
I don't know. No, I didn't. I don't know what that is, but I don't need to know what it is to tell you. No, I didn't.
Like 10 extra bucks.
Yeah, right.
Definitely know what it is.
It's only like $10 extra, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I don't need to know what it is.
Probably should know what it is.
Whatever. Yeah, I wish I would have been into like martial arts when I was like going to all these places, though. You know, because last time, I guess when I was in Africa, I had been boxing, but like it would have been cool I want to like travel more and like do jiu-jitsu and stuff, and like learn other go to other gyms.
Thailand is like it's just like a mecca. It's like a fighter's paradise there in like Phuket. Man,
I wish I went there,
dude. I can't wait to go back.
But
awesome.
they're super smart on how they train. Like they don't really spar hard in Thailand. They clinch hard. Yeah, a lot of noise, right? They hit pads really hard. But then they spar light. They kind of time spar because they're trying to preserve their bodies for the fight, right? They're fighting every 2 weeks.
They fight, all the time.
Yeah. But, you come to the United States and guys fight like every quarter. So they feel like they have to go into the gym and fight every night to know what it feels like. The Thais don't have to worry about that because they can train light. And then every 2 weeks they're getting in the ring, and then they're going to figure out whether what's working or not. And then they're right back to training again.
Yeah, man. When I was there, I was training twice a day, fucking doing private lessons with champions, just holding pads for me for a fucking hour, just burning myself out. It was awesome. Training Muay Thai twice a day, and then jiu-jitsu as well at Tiger. And And I actually got to train with Sanchai too.
Oh, get out of here!
And Liam was there too. Just happened to be there at Sanchai's gym as well. So
man.
that was pretty cool.
That's really cool. The GOAT, man.
Yeah.
Sanchai is the Michael Jordan of Muay Thai.
Yeah, he just broke his finger.
Did he?
Yeah, because he did a bare knuckle
Yep.
fight.
Yep.
And,
This scare me.
broke his finger too.
Yeah, that was unfortunate with that fight.
I would do bare knuckle MMA, which I think
Really?
and I think what's his name, Jorge Masvidal just started an bare knuckle
I heard
MMA
about that.
league. I would do bare knuckle MMA.
Really?
Yeah, I think I would almost prefer it.
Really?
How come?
I feel like I have I call this my clobber hand because I've been in so many bar fights and I've broken my knuckles and you can see like they're fucking swollen like that. And
Knuckles too.
so I just feel like I don't know, I have a lot of faith in my power in my punches because I've seen a lot of fucking human beings go to sleep at the end of them.
Yeah.
And and I feel like MMA gloves, the 4-ounce gloves, they just it's soft, and like it's just different. When like a bare knuckle is just different. But I don't want to do just bare knuckle boxing because again, I feel like it's one dimensional.
Sure.
But if I can, and also with bare knuckle or no gloves, jiu-jitsu is a lot better.
That's true.
And jiu-jitsu is obviously I'm very heavy with jiu-jitsu, so. I just feel like, in MMA for me, that is my best martial art is when I can do everything. Yeah. When I can utilize my jiu-jitsu and wrestling for control and open you up and then smash the ever living shit out of your face like that. That for me was when I can put it all together is when I'm at my best. And so I feel like the gloves for me, it kind of dampens my power a little bit, and affects your jiu-jitsu grips. So,
well, first of all,
I'd be totally down for
bare knuckle MMA.
And plus, I was a fucking bar fighter way before I was an MMA fighter.
Yeah, I know some guys that have told me the stories of your bar fights.
Yeah,
I've heard of a couple of your knockouts.
God.
Yeah, well, you work in the SEAL team, or you work for the SEAL teams as a combatives instructor, right?
Yeah, I'm a contractor with those guys. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So.
Transition over.
So I'm sure you've heard some stories.
I've heard some stories, man. I've heard of multiple knockouts in one bar setting. So I'm like, I would trust your power too if I had that confidence,
Yeah, honestly, that's why I got into MMA because I was just like, someone had I was out at a bar one night and someone had brought up Fight League or whatever, an MMA fight league, the Spartica Fight League, and I was like, oh, I can fight and not go to jail?
Sign me up.
Fuck yeah, sign me up. And that's when I started.
And that's when you started, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, MMA in itself is a style within its own style. Like a lot of people still think of it as a bunch of separate entities in one, but there's an art to putting them together. There's like the scenes 100%. In between the arts. There's some people that are just better at that because you see it in the mixed martial arts. Like guys like Tyron Woodley would go box Logan Paul and get knocked out. Mm-hmm. But Tyron Woodley, who was a wrestler, was knocking guys out left and right in mixed martial arts because he had the threat and the takedown, the kick.
And that's another thing because I don't do any MMA. I wish I should. I really should. But like I was kind of messing around the other day, and like I hate like locking up, like like doing jiu-jitsu, like locking like arms and stuff. Like I much rather do like a couple like fake like jabs to the head and then do like a double than like lock up and do it like what I mean. I just like once they like they start clinching. Do you call it clinching? Is that what you call it? Yeah, and I don't like it. I just like I just don't like being in that position. I'd rather like keep the space with a little couple jabs and then go straight for the double or like something like that.
Well, in fighting, the clinch is inevitable.
I mean, you usually
I know. I need to get more used to it.
You usually do. I always see you go.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
because I shoot your shot.
Did you wrestle before?
My brother wrestled. My brother, growing up, like my brother wrestled. So I've been working a lot on my wrestling recently. So, especially like with my finger, like doing like some shadow wrestling and stuff. I think like when I first started doing jiu-jitsu, I was like, I just thought I could wrestle because I watched my brother wrestle growing up. So I'd like, and the fireman carry story. But anyway, I like tried, and then I realized that I was going for all these takedowns, but I had no idea what I was doing. And so now I'm like, learning like the actual like skills of and trying to do it. I didn't realize like how many different takedowns there were, you know, and how much you can do. And like, you know, if like the single doesn't work, going for like doing like, or like the high crouch to the sweep or something like that. You know, there's so many different like
chain wrestling.
Yeah. Chain wrestling. And I didn't realize how much there was. And I mean, even my friend told me like, because I kept like trying these, that's how I broke my finger.
How'd you break it?
So I broke it because I was finishing a takedown.
Dislocated it.
I dislocated it, and it's still like I still can't bend it all. But my Mikey told me, he was like, if you don't have your hands on your opponent, like when you finish the takedown, you're gonna break your finger. And sure enough, I broke my finger. Oof. So I'm like, yeah. Now I'm like, I get PTSD when I'm going for these takedowns, but I'm trying.
That is scary.
Guard puller.
Yeah, I'm trying. No, I know.
You got 9 more fingers. You're fine.
I'm never a guard puller.
Buddy, take that, buddy.
Yeah, look at Jean-Jacques. You know, he doesn't even have a couple fingers on him.
Really?
So,
Yeah.
Dang.
He's born without it.
His left hand, I think, is.
He was born that way?
He's only got like a thumb and a pinky.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's got so much strength in that little joint in his hand.
Wow.
He can still get grips and choke people out.
That's pretty
crazy.
impressive.
Yeah, he's a badass.
There were so many times where I was like rolling someone my broken finger. I was like, I would have this if my finger wasn't broken. Couldn't do it.
No.
Yeah, right.
So you started training at Lynx with Frank Cucci.
Yep.
And started doing Muay Thai.
Yeah, I started doing Muay Thai. I was cross training everything, but I started competing Muay Thai right off the bat. Within like my first year, I was in my first fight. I ended up fighting like a Philly state champion, like fight number 1. Hadn't had any experience in there, but you know, like that we had such a tough room. We had tough guys in there. Frank was getting in there holding pads, and he was more scary than anybody else because like there were guys that were literally getting knocked out during pad work with Frank. Yeah.
Wow.
It was, you know, we're in a kinder, gentler nation right now, and that was normal for him. But like doing pad work with him.
How were they holding pads like?
No, he was like some of that happened too, right?
I'm sure I've seen that.
Yeah, almost got knocked out in Vegas.
I've gotten hurt that way too. I think the guy did it on purpose too.
Maybe
asshole.
Yeah.
But yeah, how did he get knocked out? How was he knocking people out?
Well, so like the way we would do pad work is, you know, the pad work holder would put on the tie pad and the belly pad, and then his whole job was to move forward and attack you, right? So you'd have to get so many kicks in a round or whatever, but you're fighting like an invincible person that you can't hurt. So you're kicking the pad as hard as you can. They can kick you and punch you whenever you want. And your whole job is to hit as hard as you can, survive the flurry for like 3 rounds as someone's trying to come forward that you can't stop. And that was more valuable than even the sparring, because of course the sparring you got like the timing and whatever. But in the first 3 or 4 fights, offense, cardio, and aggression are really what get you through it. And like if you could fight someone that would never stop no matter what you did, you could still stay in the fight. And by the time you got in the ring, it wasn't that big of a deal.
I say it all the time to our students here. Fatigue makes cowards of us all.
100%.
Absolutely does. And like when I train for my fights, honestly, like if I know I have a fight coming up or something, you know, and it's in 6 or 8 weeks or whatever, I really don't even I don't even try to get better at fighting.
Mm-hmm.
I only focus on my cardio. I just try to fucking make it to where I can sprint from start to finish in that fight. And I'm going to make you fight at that pace. Yeah. And if you're not conditioned at that pace, I don't care how fucking good you are, because fatigue makes cowards of us all.
Eventually I'll break you.
And if you fucking, if you start and wincing and I'm not, then, you know, I'm good. Yeah. And people are always like, you know, piss me off because I'm a mouth breather. So
naturally,
people are like always commentating.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. When
people
their
are
mouth
always
open.
fucking commentating. Oh, he's got it. His mouth's wide open. His mouth's wide open. I'm like, bitch, I'm a high performance fucking engine. I need a high intake. The fuck this little nostrils ain't doing it.
I gotta open this bad boy up.
Horsepower, son.
That's what I've always heard though. If they're breathing with their mouth open, they're tired.
Yeah, fucking stupid.
Yeah. Well, people used to say that about Dominic Cruz too. Like Dominic Cruz could fight 25 minutes nonstop, but his mouth was wide open the entire time.
Bro, and every fucking punch I throw, I'm throwing with intentions of knocking.
Aren't you going to bite your tongue? Like, wouldn't you bite your tongue
You got a mouth guard in.
Good point.
Which is the only time I ever wear a mouth guard is when I'm forced to. I hate wearing mouth guards. Yeah. They cut my lips open.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I feel like anytime I've worn a mouth guard and sparred, I will get hit in the lips, and the mouth guard cuts my the inside of my lips, and then they always turn to canker sores. And then canker sores fucking suck.
Ugh.
And it's just the worst. And like, so I fucking
Got herpes.
I was waiting for it.
Can't get it twice, right?
God.
It's one and done. Yeah.
So you know, like, so like the mouth guards for me, I don't fucking rock with those. You know, I don't wear them ever. And people are like always like crazy, like, you don't wear a mouth guard? You don't wear a mouth guard? And I'm like, no, I don't wear a cup or a mouth guard ever unless they make me.
Unless it's in the
And I'm
fight.
sparring at fucking Black House, fucking
what?
big dogs. I don't care.
Yeah.
No
big deal.
I wore a mouth guard when I was like sparring, but that's the only time I would wear a mouth guard. And speaking of me, I get like, I think it's sparring. It's like that's where you learn your footwork and stuff like that because it's like you're actually like fighting. But like you kind of were just saying, jiu-jitsu, you won't get hurt. You know, when you're boxing, when you're sparring with like boxing or Muay Thai or whatever, it's like you could get hurt. Like, or I don't want to, like, you could get a black eye. Like, I don't want to mess up my face.
Funny you say that though, because like I agree with you in theory. The theory sounds sound,
Yeah.
but all my injuries have been from jiu-jitsu.
Really? Well, that is, yeah, I
Every
believe
single
it.
one. Every
I believe
single
it. I
one.
guess like you're like I'm more. I guess thinking about my face. Like I don't want my
Concussion.
face all cut up or like. I'm pretty hard headed. You know, I don't know.
I've gotten a lot of elbows in jiu-jitsu in the face.
I've had more
Yeah.
elbows in jiu-jitsu than I did in a Muay Thai fight.
I think so too.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. Incidental.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're always accidental.
Always accidental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just running into the tip of somebody's elbow when
With,
you're trying to
in
pass.
Muay Thai, you know an elbow is possible.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
like that's
Wow.
like,
Intentional.
That's
Yeah.
intentional. So
Yeah.
you're looking out for it, and avoiding it. But with a jiu-jitsu, you're just kind of
don't
like,
see it
oh,
coming.
Or,
you know?
or run into somebody's knee when they
Yeah.
go hold their knee up for guard. It's
That
like,
hurts
ah.
too.
Yeah, that's happened, on a crowded mat or something like that. And we have fucking 20 plus pairs rolling there.
That's what I was gonna say.
Sometimes
I've
shit
gotten
happens.
kicked in the head, like
Yeah.
harder than I've gotten hit or kicked in my whole entire life was because I got. It might have been no, you didn't kick me in the head. It was someone else.
Fuck no, I didn't kick you. in the
Yeah,
head.
but it was freaking hard.
But you, when you're used to rolling and shit, it also changes your mindset, and you're just not a bitch about it. You
Yeah.
know? And it's like whatever.
Clipped on the head. Just
Yeah.
keep it moving.
It is what it
Keep
is.
it moving, man. It's part of the sport.
You know?
True that.
Toughens you up.
Jiu-jitsu definitely fucking toughens you up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, any kind of contact fucking sport.
Yeah.
Like those toughen you up.
But you also do. What other interests in sports do you do? That's what I want to know.
Sports?
Like, or like activities, like leisure activities you like to do.
Yeah. So I got into like Argentine tango.
Okay,
like,
yeah, that's what I
about a
wanted
year
to
and a half
know.
ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and man, I fell in love with it. It's like the closest
That's
thing
so
to
cool.
a martial art.
Tango?
Yeah.
Dancing?
100%.
Did it
That
help
is-
your footwork? Muay Thai?
It helped like body.
funny
like
you say
sensitivity-
that.
Sensitivity.
No, it's so funny you say that because my
Rachel, this isn't
This
about
isn't
you.
a
No
story.
one
I know,
fucking
but
cares. You're
it's
listening to Buck.
on point though because I never had any type of rhythm. Like I could not keep a rhythm worth shit until I started boxing. And like my boxing coach joked me, he was like, "You can't keep a rhythm for more than 8 counts."
Are you like a lane dancing?
I can take. What is that? I don't. That. Well,
Like that? Like
I
that?
just didn't dance before, but like I can keep but now I twerk. Okay, now I can fucking twerk.
well,
All right,
you went from zero
because
to
of
twerk?
because of boxing.
Boxing?
No,
What are you teaching over there, Mikey?
no.
And we're gonna sign up.
No. But boxing, I could keep. Oh my god.
You might need a coach.
So boxing, I learned how to keep a rhythm. Then I could start dancing, and then
Fight House is about to get like so many people signing up now.
it's
We're
funny.
here for the twerking.
Like, girls.
Just a bunch of dudes.
No, I got into
Sitting
twerking
on the
because
sideline.
my actually sparring partner from Fight House, we went to Africa together and we wanted to work out. And I forgot who, Nastia or something on Instagram. She's
Oh,
like the
that bitch
best.
is bad.
She's such a good twerker.
Yeah.
She's so good. So I got the 8-week course online and I started doing it.
She's kind of ugly, but
She's well, she can twerk and she's got a
She can
nice
twerk.
butt.
She can twerk
and
her
she's
ass
beautiful.
off.
She's beautiful. We'll have
don't
to
know
show
if
you
she-
this, girl. I'm going to show
she's
you
not
her.
ugly. She's just not super hot.
She's from like some Eastern European country, isn't she? Like you would think she's
like
anyway.
So you learn how to twerk.
So I learned how to twerk.
She's the best twerker on earth.
Probably. And I got the 8-week course for her. Like talk about some confidence. Like between boxing and twerking, it's like, oh, no one can fucking touch me.
I did not expect this conversation to go in this direction.
But what I was gonna say, even if it's like the speed bag or like what it is, like jump roping and stuff like that, I feel like because of boxing, I'm able to keep a rhythm.
Yeah.
And I'm able to stay focused because like Mitch said, why I'm twerking or why I'm boxing or whatever. Like Mitch said, I'm very ADHD. So like, I have to be focused, like paying attention. And it's made me like, even with other things in life, it's increased my ability to stay focused and keep a rhythm, whether I'm twerking or whether I'm boxing. Like,
there you go.
And like also the breathing when you're boxing, like, or like a lot of times, like when I will do jujitsu, even though you're not supposed to like make the movements, like, or like, like sounds or whatever, I will, cause I'm like, like, you do the counts and you're like, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No. All right, next.
Or like when I'm doing when you're doing the techniques. Oh my God, I quit.
Good.
I quit.
You're making
so
sounds
please
in
tell
order to remind you how to breathe.
How to breathe exactly, or like how many steps I need to do to complete the technique or whatever.
So when did you start?
So let's talk about tango.
Jiu-jitsu?
We're not talking about jiu-jitsu. We're talking about tango.
I know. If you would shut up, Buck could talk about jiu-jitsu.
Okay, but tell me more about the tango dancing.
Jiu-jitsu, go ahead.
What are we doing?
When did you start your jiu-jitsu journey?
I started jiu-jitsu journey in 96.
Okay.
96. But it was like 8 years of kind of in between fights.
How long were you did you start at Frank's gym?
Frank,
okay.
Yeah.
So how long were you there before you started doing jiu-jitsu?
Pretty much in the first year. Because
good.
first year was UFC 2 came out.
So you're doing Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And like I was one of those long time black belts. It took me 20 years to get my black belt.
Wow.
Because I was a mixed martial artist from day one, thinking about the entire game. I was working the transitions between striking and grappling, how to hit on the ground, how to get back to your feet. So I would put a gi on for training in between, but then I would take it off because the guys wanted to fight, and I just never got into the pipeline of the jiu-jitsu line.
Man, I fucking tell all these guys here that, train with Chuck and all that, like, you got it. They don't ever train gi jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. And they, because they want to fight MMA or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, I got 10 fucking championship belts on that wall and never did a no-gi class. It was all fucking gi. Like, you can take the gi off and still know
fight.
Jiu-jitsu.
Yay!
This is interesting. I don't know what that was.
I don't either.
I have no idea what that is.
You fucking having a conversation in your head over there? Did your hinge date just text you?
I said
Karate
picture.
Some breaking boards on your phone. It's like hot. So hot.
You want to go on a date?
Do you think that like it's mandatory, or you think it's better for fighters to put the gi on to learn how to fight?
I do. I think they should, because it's just more dimensional. In my opinion, the jiu-jitsu is more dimensional than no gi. I just think there's more things to worry about and think about and all that stuff, and the grips are different. And yeah, whatever. But like I said, I hardly ever train no-gi except for our fight nights, basically. And, I do all gi training, and I fucking compete no-gi still.
Yeah.
I, do these fight nights with no-gi, and, you still know jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Right? But if you never train in the gi, you're going to suck in the gi for sure.
Sure. Yeah.
And, I just think it's like, you're still learning jiu-jitsu. You can still apply it in the cage. Absolutely. I apply my jiu-jitsu in MMA constantly. It's a huge part of my game. And I fucking go up there and whoop these guys' asses. And I hardly ever do striking training. I know how to do the basics. I know how to kick. I know how to punch and elbow or whatever.
My punches look pretty good.
It's just not that fucking dimensional, I feel like. There are details, of course. High level striking is a thing.
Sure.
But you can get lucky and just knock somebody out. Even with a halfway decent striker, with power, if I fucking land on your chin, there's a good chance you're going to go to sleep.
You're going to go to sleep. Yeah.
You're not going to do that in jiu-jitsu. You're not
going to get lucky.
You can't accidentally tap out a black belt.
Yeah, you're not going to get lucky and get dominant position on me in jiu-jitsu. You're not going to get lucky and submit me. You're not like, it's just not going to fucking happen.
The only thing I notice with fighting is like sometimes high-level jiu-jitsu guys will get caught by a guy that's not as good as them because of the damage.
Yeah,
right?
you
He's
have
punched in the face. He's hurt. He shoots a bad shot.
And again, maybe this is, I'm a different case or something because I'm also tough, and and I'm not afraid to get into a fucking fight. I spar hard a lot. Like
that's not a whole lot of jiu-jitsu guys though. You're a different breed.
Yeah. But and like, obviously my fucking background, I'm a SEAL. I'm like I grew up fighting. Fist fighting, real street fighting. So it's like my mentality was never, I'm not afraid of a fight. I'm not afraid to exchange. I'm not afraid to get down and, like bite down and just fucking swing. Like, which, a lot of jiu-jitsu guys that have never been in that world.
Sure.
Like you have guys like Renzo Gracie and shit.
Well, those guys were tough.
Those guys were tough as fuck.
Yeah, they grew up fighting.
They grew up fighting, you know? So
different breed. That's a different breed.
It's a different mindset, and there are plenty of dudes that are killers in jiu-jitsu that have never been in a fight.
Ever.
You know? So you fucking, and they've never had to worry about it in jiu-jitsu. Yeah. But if you fucking get smashed in your fucking face one time, black belt who's never been in a fight, you're a brown belt.
Yep. Take shades
off
the belt.
One more time, you're a fucking purple belt.
Every time you get hit, shades off the belt.
And it can go from, black to black it out.
Yeah. in one shot.
Yeah,
in one shot.
It's a different thing. But, my background was street fighting, so jiu-jitsu was kind of like, oh, this is pussy shit. This isn't just,
nobody's going to hit me.
Yeah, this isn't like that intense. Like it's cool because you can go intense and give it your all, but it's low impact.
Yeah.
So for me it was just like, oh, this is just fun.
You just went from like comparing gi to no gi to like, I meant no gi to gi to jiu-jitsu to fighting. You get what I'm saying? No. I'm confused.
No, you didn't form like a complete sentence.
Asshole. First you were talking about gi versus no gi. Okay. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And then it went from gi to MMA. I'm about to kick your ass right now. But then it just went from like what, gi to MMA or just straight up fighting.
I'd say, like in modern day world, like people don't see the need necessarily to put the gi on and mixed martial arts. But there was a time where like if you trained jiu-jitsu and you fought, you wore the gi most of your training and you took it off maybe 2 weeks before the fight just to get used to like not having it on.
That makes sense.
And then you went and fight. Nowadays, people train no gi from day one and never put the gi on.
You know what I think?
Like in like real world, like you get in a fight with someone wearing clothes, like in a jacket or hoodie or whatever, you can use that fucking thing like a gi, and the grips and all that stuff. It's just, it's very natural for me to grab and like hold, and like with no gi, the grips are different. It's not super heavy with that. It's a lot of transitions, I feel like, and I don't know.
I feel like gi is like a lot more complex, and it's a lot more like
slippery and
I feel like the gi is like more complex. You have to like know a lot more and be like, if you're not aware of things, you can get like taken advantage of, like with the lapel and all that stuff. Whereas no gi, I feel like is less complex, but I feel like you have to be better at it to be successful.
I feel like no gi, the leg locks is the biggest advantage with no gi. That's their most dangerous game.
That's where their complexity.
But I mean, like you can't you can like have someone and throw them around with the gi on, but like you can't really do that as much with no gi. Like it's less complex, but like I feel like you have to be better at it because you have to be better at your grips and stuff like that, and you have to like be more aggressive. I guess
scramble is a little bit more of a factor with no gi because you don't have the jacket to slow people down. People can use athleticism and speed to get past the guard.
Yeah, the gi, there's more
submissions.
The gi, there's more friction.
Yeah,
it's less forgiving. I feel like with that, like you can't make mistakes as much.
Yeah,
which makes your jiu-jitsu better.
Yeah,
so like, and I said like. You can always take the gi off and you still know jiu-jitsu and positional shit. And that's like the thing is position over submission. And in MMA, getting a dominant position in MMA it's so much more devastating because now we can also fucking drop elbows on your face or punch your face. If I get you, you know, mounted and like pin a crucifix or something like that, or your arms are trapped and your fucking face is exposed, this isn't like I might not be in a position to choke you, but if I
can hit you,
that's fucking a wrap. Yeah. And like these guys that train MMA here, they don't fucking get that. And it's like being high level in jiu-jitsu means that you are high level at controlling a fucking human being's body. And like you can put them where you want them. You can get to that dominant position, and then you don't and that's why like I don't even do a ton of striking classes because, you know, again, like my jiu-jitsu is pretty fucking effective to where if I get my hands on you and get you to the ground, which is pretty likely, you know, and remember my wrestling is good too. So if I can get that to that fight to the ground, get that dominant position, you're fucked. And you don't need to be super technical to land an elbow from a foot away, you know, with serious fucking power.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And I think that's why a lot of MMA guys kind of...
Khabib is not a great striker.
No, but Khabib is the best. Khabib is the GOAT. Yeah. I love Khabib.
Well, his protege might be the next GOAT.
I think so. I'm obsessed.
I don't think Khabib is the GOAT.
Khabib is a good guy. So that
John Jones. I'm not even a huge fan of John Jones, but he is the GOAT.
He's pretty cool too. Okay, he might be the GOAT, but like Khabib compared to Conor McGregor, I mean.
Oh, clearly, he's better than Conor.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like.
The thing to think about I think about with mixed martial arts is, you know, like training in the combatives world, you become like a master reductionist because you have to cover so many different variables in a short period of time. And now with mixed martial arts, you have so many variables that a person has to train that if they go too far down one line, they lack time and energy and resources in the other, right?
That makes total sense.
You have to give them a foundation of something. And then, so with with no-gi training, for example, if I can pin and control, then like you said, I can hit them. I can control. If I can become a escape artist out of every situation, I know enough to survive the ground, and then I can get back to my feet. But then it gets to a certain point, even with mixed martial arts, where like just that baseline is not enough. Like you see it in mixed martial arts now, like everybody thought they were decent all the way around fighters, and then Khabib shows up and basically applies old jiu-jitsu tactics only now with more ferocity and strength. He took people down at will, controlled them. They couldn't get back up. Heavy pressure. His game isn't fancy.
Well,
no, he just heavy pressures guys, beats them up, and then he smashes them with some very simple submission. Never really goes for anything really crazy.
No.
Yeah, the most complex thing I saw him do was like an arm bar on Gaethje.
Yeah, switch to a triangle.
Yeah.
And you know what? Because he didn't want to hurt him because he liked him. That's why I love Khabib, because he's like, I knew
that was
his parents were
his dad's favorite choke.
Yeah. Oh. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
But he also said he said his like parents were in the.
He said he knew Gaethje wasn't going to tap, so he wasn't going to put him in an arm bar. So he put him in the.
Yeah, because he was trying to look out for him, like a good guy. But Poirier said that the reason that made Khabib like such a hard fighter to fight, it like wasn't about how hard he hit. It wasn't about like, you know, how good his takedowns was. It was the fact that he knew where his weight distribution was at all the time. So he knew like how to get him down, where to put his pressure down,
he was
and
just
all that.
More advanced grappler.
Yeah.
And it's a language, you know. That's what it is, and it's just solving problems. And you know, if you know, like that's the thing. It's like when two black belts roll, we both know what the answer is.
Yes.
But who can solve it faster? And you know, implement it faster. Yeah, that's it.
So what you were saying, that like, you know, if how one person comes along and is like an expert at one more than, you know, the others, like, are you saying what if someone came into the UFC who was like an expert at their boxing or whatever? Do you think that they would kind of make a statement?
Well, there have been a few.
Deontay Wilder's coming over to fight Francis Ngannou
in the MMA fight. That's not going to be good. That's not going to be
and good. That's boxers don't usually do that because they're so one-dimensional.
Yeah.
What about like an expert at Muay Thai or like another?
There are experts.
Yeah.
But even those guys, like even guys who say they're experts they're not. You look at an expert like Pereira, for example. He's a world-class kickboxer and he's like the champion now. And everybody looks at him as a kickboxer. But I guarantee you, if you want to watch his training, he's doing jiu-jitsu and wrestling probably more than he's doing the striking.
He should be.
Yeah.
Because that's what his strength is.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think a lot of those,
I'm sorry, his weakness.
those guys that you were, complaining about that they don't do like the gi or whatever. I think they all think that they are already experts at wrestling because of their wrestling background. So they're like, no. Okay.
I think it's a time, energy, and resource problem with mixed martial arts.
It's not even a lot of those guys. A lot of those guys are white belts.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's very true.
And I'm just like, you have no business training MMA. Yeah. Like if you you have no, excuse me. You can definitely train MMA, and I encourage that. Don't skip jiu-jitsu to do that.
Don't skip jiu-jitsu to do that, 100%. You don't have enough of a foundation to mix the arts together yet to be a mixed martial artist.
And that's like, I went up there.
That makes sense.
I went up there the other night with one of our students, and started on my back and had him fully mount me. And I said, I'm not going to even sweep you. I'm just going to stay here on the bottom position and fight from the bottom the whole round.
From bottom mount.
So he was mounted on me, and I just fucked him up for 5 minutes from the bottom because I know how to control your body. I know how to,
even in a bad position.
Yes, and and one of my fights, I fought a guy, and he took me down right away, and I was on the bottom. He same thing, and I fucking hit him from the bottom, and he told me in the fight, he was like, "Holy fuck, I've never been hit that hard."
Yeah, period. Much less from a bad position.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a skill within itself, being able to hit from like bad spots.
But it's controlling distance.
How do you get that rotation?
It's controlling distance. It's just
like, like how do you, I guess, yeah.
I mean, and like some people have
hard power.
You have that like.
I do. Yeah.
That tendon strength that takes people like there's
that
people
fast
that look,
twitch.
Yeah, some people look big and don't really hit that hard, and then other times you'll see like a little wiry dude hit you, and it feels like they put a brick through your head.
That's a really good point.
And it's like, and I think it's weirdly weird, but I think throwing power, like I can throw a dodgeball like super fast, a baseball super fast, and I feel like that translates.
100%.
Like I throw that fist fucking fast and hard, and I throw it with intensity, with those intentions. Like a lot of people are timid with that shit too.
Sure, yeah.
And
it's like that snap, kind of, yeah.
Well, a lot of historians talk about like all sports really are some form of martial combat that just took an aspect of martial combat and turned it into like a sport. You think even look at baseball. Think about the ability to.
But no, that's very interesting.
God, I hate baseball. I worked for a baseball team. I worked for the Mets for like a year, and. I was so bored to death.
This is kind of it's not jiu-jitsu, but I'll be really fast. My brother used to wrestle with a guy named Chris Taylor. He plays for the Dodgers, and his dad was a state champ, so his dad wanted him to wrestle. And of course, 9th grade, he told his dad he wasn't going to wrestle anymore. He was just going to play baseball, and it like broke his dad's heart. And it was like a big deal in the wrestling world, Anyway, now he plays for the Dodgers, has like an $8 million contract. So I mean. Jiu-jitsu's not getting you an $8 million contract, wrestling or baseball did.
How much did Khabib make his last fight?
I have no idea, but I know he's very wealthy.
10 million plus.
Did he make 10 million?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I didn't.
But he's Khabib.
And that's not jiu-jitsu. That's MMA.
Yeah.
And he's Khabib. He's Khabib.
Most guys in UFC aren't making that money.
Yeah.
The top guys and the popular guys.
Yeah.
Think about the ability. Those pay-per-views, selling those pay-per-views. Yeah.
But just think about like the ability, like you talked about throwing a ball. Think about the ability to throw a ball at 90 miles an hour and what implications that would have pre-having guns or bows and arrows in a real fighting situation, or be able to swing a bat and hit something at 90 miles an hour accurately. That type of ability. So it's like all sports, in my opinion, all sports boil down to fighting. If you watch any sport, every sport turns into a fight eventually.
Well, I think fighting is the ultimate sport. It's the apex, because it's like what happens when the people in baseball, like tempers flare, they get hit with the ball or whatever. When they fight like and everybody, then all of a sudden that's the only time baseball is watchable.
Yeah, I've never seen an MMA fight escalate into a basketball game.
No.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, oh, you don't like what I did let's go play ball. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like
And-
that's
yeah,
not what
that's-
happened.
no, that's true.
That's
what
the thing.
happened.
An MMA
That's
fight,
so true.
An MMA fight is like a gentleman's fight. It's like a, this is a fight with rules and like and restraint. But then even when these boil over, Conor and Khabib, what happens?
There's another fight,
real
a fight
fight
after a
pops
fight.
out, yeah.
A fight with no rules.
Yeah,
like,
with a bunch on the fighting.
it's
and
just
then
it's the apex.
yeah, that's
There's
what everybody's trying to do.
That's the most dominant out
The
there.
apex.
Apex
is.
sport.
Yeah, it's true.
Everything boils down to fighting eventually. Everything does.
Yeah.
You know. That's why, like, everyone, I think
And
it should
that-
be in every school
and
system. Every
It
kid should
should,
learn.
man.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just so crazy, and it's like we've gotten to in this soft ass reality for so many people that don't understand this, like, and it's like so disrespectful and this and that, and it's like you've never gotten fucking punched in the face. You've never gotten mounted and punched over and over in the face
In your front yard.
Something, yeah.
With your brothers watching. No.
That shit will humble you so quick, and it will fucking change your world. Just change your reality. And and it's like me, like with me, there are lines. If you cross it, I don't give a fuck. Regardless of consequences, you're getting fucking smashed. And you will understand that, like, at the end of the day, you're just a man. I'm just a man, but there are consequences, and I am capable of fucking your shit up.
Yeah.
Do you have have you always had the self-control to know when to stop though? Like that
Yeah.
you don't hurt,
I've never had an interest in hitting anyone unconscious, and I've fucking KO'd plenty of people in a street fight, zero care for them or whatever. But the moment I see them go unconscious, there's no honor, there's nothing like an unconscious person that
again.
can't defend themselves. And
That's good.
and even like I'm thinking like the maddest I've ever been in a street fight or anything, like when I see them go unconscious, I've always stopped. I've never like if I see someone hit an unconscious person, I want to attack that person.
Yeah. That's yeah.
Because it's like
can't.
they are completely defenseless.
Yeah. And it's nice to be able to be a person who is capable of doing that.
Yeah.
Like to be able to defend someone who can't. Like I think everyone should be able to do martial arts. But I look at a lot of like young men these days, particularly, should be training because it's like there's something about knowing that you can be dangerous and being able to control
It
that.
allows you to be
It's
kind.
huge.
Yeah, allows you to be kind.
Yeah.
This is real kindness, right? There's no real kindness if you're not dangerous at all. You know, like if someone comes up to you and pushes you around, says something to your girlfriend or whatever, and you can't fight, you just acquiescing to that.
You have to
situation.
submit.
You have to submit. There's no choice in that.
Yeah.
But having the choice to be able to do that, and then even like self-regulation, like being able to go out and get smashed over and over again and calm yourself down and not
huge.
go crying off the mat. Having that ability is paramount, and you're only going to find that in a gym. Like you don't want to find out that you can't do that when the fight's real. You might as well go in here and do that. And then how much layover is that to the rest of your life, right? Like if you get mad with your girlfriend or you get at work and somebody says something and you want to get mad and you want to do something about it, but you know you have the ability to self-regulate.
It's huge.
And you know that like in the back of your head, like if this ever really escalated to the ultimate, I could probably take that guy out. I'm just choosing
You have
not
the
to.
confidence.
It's a huge confidence.
No, yeah, that's huge. What do they say? What's that quote? It's like a good man is a dangerous man or something like that.
You know, the Jordan Peterson
Or
quote.
something like that. Yeah. That's very true.
You should be a monster.
Self-control is everything too. And like you said, it kind of like relates to your like everyday life. Like if you can have self-control in the gym, then you can have self-control like at work when, your boss is giving you a lecture or or like you get in a fight with your boyfriend or your girlfriend and you have that self-control to take a deep breath and walk away or.
Buck literally just said that.
I know. And then that's what, that's what you're supposed to do when you have a conversation with someone. You paraphrase what they
repeat-
say.
just repeat
You
what the fuck they just
paraphrase what
said?
they say.
That's what therapists do. So what you're
Exactly.
What I heard was
I got my degree in recreational therapy, so I am a certified therapist.
Oh my god.
Certified
Got
recreational
therapized.
therapist. But that's what I've always been taught to do. I'm sorry. I thought you were supposed to paraphrase, but I'm just not going to say anything.
That would be great.
I quit. I still want to hear about the tango dancing, but whatever.
Okay, let's hear about it.
Talk about the
Yeah,
gym.
I want to hear about it.
I mean, actually, I picked it up years ago and then and walked away from it for years. I got back into it when I tore my tricep tendon because literally when I tore this, they would say, "Hey, your tendon's going to be done for 9 to 12 months. You can't do anything with it. Yeah, you can tape it together, but if you put any stress on it, it's going to pop again. You got to be out. So I got into that, and about June of last year, June of last year, and just fell in love with it. There was like this direct correlation to things that I'd already done, like being able to body awareness with you and another person, being able to feel like subtle shifts of energy, push and pull. Like some of the best jiu-jitsu black belts, for example, right? Like that I've ever rolled with. I see like these little tiny guys, 145 pounds, that like do a little move and then they sweep you across the room, right? They adjust their hip just a little bit and all of a sudden they go from 100 to 300 pounds. Like that little ability to like sense where your body is and where somebody else's body is in time and space. And now just doing it in a collaborative manner instead of a combative manner, a lot of it felt very similar to me. And then I just enjoyed it. So it gives me a little bit of balance. I can fight in the morning when I go in on base and train, and then I go do that at night. I stay somewhere in the middle.
Like a violent hippie.
Like a violent hippie. Yeah. See, I see what you did there. Yeah. Cool. I get it.
It's also good too when you have injuries to like be able to have that mindset and do something else that you and find, passion in it, it's instead of stay lazy or like.
It's also good, when you find something that you're passionate about and you have those injuries.
I could just tell that you were going to say something like an asshole. I'm like, seriously, if I could, I'd give you a dead arm with my fucking right arm. But he's whatever. But you know what I mean? Like some people like look at Paralympic athletes, like, they fall down. I get knocked down. I get up again.
Don't stare at Paralympic athletes.
No, but some of the most inspiring people that I've worked with have been Paralympic athletes. I worked for the National Sports Center for Disabled, and these most of them got injured in a skiing accident. First thing they wanted to do was get on the mountain. I'm not talking about jiu-jitsu, so I'm going to get in big trouble. But they were doing 4-minute miles on these like in the summertime on these like skateboards. It looked like a skateboard and a hamper. And they would do these like 4-minute miles. And this was like right after I graduated college. So I was like, I'm in shape. I'm athletic. Like I can do this. And so I got in it. I got halfway around the track and like thought I was going to die. It's like never. And so these girls were using like half their body better than I could use my entire body. I was like, I'm never going to say I can't or I won't after that.
What's that old
But they were
saying?
able to still find passion and find enjoyment after their accident.
Yeah. What's that old saying, the Miyamoto Musashi quote from the Book of Five Rings? He was, you don't know who Musashi was. He was the best samurai to ever lived. He was undefeated in 60 full contact sword fights.
Oh, wow.
Like real sword fights to the death. Undefeated. And he wrote a book called The Book of Five Rings. And one of the things quotes he said was like, once you know the way broadly, you can see it in all things. So like once you can become a master in something, right? I mean, perfect example. Like you were a SEAL, like you understood excellence there. It's like, okay, now I'm gonna become a black belt. All right, I'm gonna do that in fighting. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that in business. Like you know what excellence is in one thing.
That's cool.
And then you can apply it to all
whatever
things,
you choose to do.
if you choose to. And a lot of people don't see that correlation, which is like if you can go to a martial arts class and like just turn yourself into something. Like nobody knows anything when they start jiu-jitsu. They're getting smashed by everybody. It's hard. But then eventually they stick around with it and they go, okay, I'm resilient. I'm tough. I can push through things. I can learn.
I think that jiu-jitsu is a great transition for your everyday average person, that doesn't feel like a warrior, that doesn't feel like they want to be in like a full contact kind of thing like Muay Thai or something hard impact, and because you can also just communicate with your training partner about the level of intensity you're wanting to go at.
Sure.
And I think that people will eventually just, and like you said, we've said, you can go super hard, full on out, and you're not going to get hurt most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah.
And but you can still like ease into it even with that. So you can go like, just drilling or whatever and just like eventually start rolling and this and that, and then eventually just with the repetition and time on the mat and stuff, you just get used to it. You get used to the little things and you just start to open up a little bit more. I see it with people here every day, you know, and people that come in super timid or whatever, and then 2 months later they're like a different person. And so I think it's great for your everyday average person that doesn't have that warrior mindset come in, and it will become forged here. And, you know, any fucking person can become a black belt. You just have to show up and keep showing up. That's it. A black belt is a white belt that never quit.
Never quit.
I saw something the other day, and it was like something about like jiu-jitsu. Like, there's the reason why people are in it, and the reason why you can still make money off of it is because the belt system. Like that, the Gracies were like geniuses for starting the belt system, because that's why someone is consistent with jiu-jitsu for 12 years instead of like seeing someone like with Muay Thai for like 12 years. Most of the time they quit, like, because what are they working for? Whereas jiu-jitsu, they want the black belt that bad.
In Muay Thai. Yeah. There's a rank system in Muay Thai.
But would you guys like agree with that, or like no? Like,
well,
I think some people are motivated by belts, you know, and it is something like, because it's not watered down. It's not a bullshit black belt from karate.
Yeah.
You know, when you get a black belt in jiu-jitsu, that means something, because, you know, you've put in probably 10 years to get that thing, sometimes 20.
20, yeah.
You know?
Sometimes 20.
So 20 years, like, you've been putting effort towards this craft, this sport, this martial art, and it's a recognition of that, you know. And
have you guys ever seen like a bad black belt or a black belt that just did it?
Sure.
So,
for sure.
So how did they earn their black belt then? Just time?
Look, maybe they got it on Amazon, you know.
There's a couple of guys that tried to get away with that early on in the day. They bought belts and opened up gyms, but you can get exposed so fast.
There was a fucking guy in Ohio. You know, my brother went to this school, and it was like a fucking karate school. It was like a mix or a multiple martial arts school. That, you know, a karate gym that offers jujitsu, you know, type shit. And of course, the guy's a black belt in karate, and, you know, he was teaching the jujitsu class still wearing his black belt. Ooh. And, you know, and I'm like, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, who the fuck is this guy or whatever? And turns out he's a fucking blue belt. Oof. And it's like, hey, bitch, take that fucking black belt off when you're teaching jujitsu, because you're not a fucking black belt.
Yeah.
And if I have to come in here and strangle the fucking shit out of you and expose you over and over and over, I will happily do that.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. But, like, yeah, it's fucking dumb. And that's the thing. Mats don't lie.
No, they don't.
You know? That's true.
Now, of course, there's layers to black belt, right? Like, there's black belts that I've rolled with that made me feel like I didn't know jack. Mm-hmm. But by and large, once you're at the black belt level, there's a certain level of excellence that you're looking at, because you don't. First of all, with the belt system, the belts in the beginning might keep people around, but it's not enough to keep someone around for 10 years.
No. I think a lot of people. I think that's why a lot of people quit at blue belt.
Yeah,
because they get that blue belt, and that's like that was like, you know, now they can tell people I do jiu-jitsu. I'm a blue belt. Yeah. Like, you know, I'm not just a white belt. I'm a blue belt, and I think they do get fixated on. You know, like, they'll come and they'll see, like, the potential of jiu-jitsu. They'll, you know, learn, and, you know, because even if you do 10 classes, you see how fucking effective it is. Yeah. 10 classes version of you will beat the fucking shit out of day one you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's no chance, you know? And so, like, everyone sees the effectiveness of it and how real that is. But I think they get, you know, like, I want to get that blue belt. I want to get that blue belt. I want to get that blue belt. And then when they get that blue belt, and then they realize, like, you're still the same person. You still suck. Still level of jiu-jitsu. You still suck. Yeah. And you know, and it's like, oh fuck. And now it's like there's minimum times in the belts too. And it's like, even if you're coming every day, you still gotta be that blue belt for at least 2.5 years, you know? At least, yeah. And then it's like, fuck, you know, well, maybe I don't want to be a purple belt. I don't know. I don't care that much. I know enough jiu-jitsu. I know an armbar. And when I go out and watch the UFC fights with my friends, I can point out what.
See more than they know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's like
doesn't know anything.
I think that's like what a lot of fucking people do.
Yeah, I think so. And there's like the blue. It's like before blue belt. There's no weight on your performance. Like, you're just a white belt. You know, like, you could be a really good white belt and stick around white belt all the time. Everyone's like, wow, you're a white belt. You're really good. Now you got the blue belt on, and there's a little bit of responsibility and a little bit of weight.
Well, and it's like big difference, right? Like if you roll with a blue belt that's had his blue belt for a week versus a blue belt that's had his blue belt for 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge.
And then it's like, oh fuck, like really apparent difference.
Is night and day. And then you got to deal with that on your own ego. Like, well, I'm a blue belt, but this guy's smashing me.
He just fucking smashed the absolute shit out of me.
Maybe I shouldn't be doing this.
I have what did Nora say to you?
Nora was talking about that.
What did Nora say to you when you asked her if she let me tap her out? Oh.
I just said like I think because you were all excited about it.
I was very excited.
And
You caught her?
Nora's a savage. So.
Nora's a savage. She's a brown belt. She's she kicks my ass, chokes me every time.
So I was like,
the first time I ever tapped her out.
I was like skeptical hippo eyes.
Well,
even I asked her,
and what I think what happened, and not to
she
hurt
told
your
me what
feelings,
happened.
I think she was letting you work a little bit because she's a high level brown belt.
And she teaches me a lot.
She's been rolling for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
She always lets me work. Like she'll.
And
you're
she's
right.
and
like,
she's like 5'9", 5'10", like 150 pounds or whatever, 160 pounds. I don't know. She's in athletic. She's fit.
Very
That's a
athletic.
nightmare.
She's a beast.
Yeah, she's like a hurricane.
And so when over here caught her and then she like
I didn't get that excited. I hugged her right after. I hugged her and I was like super excited because I've never done that before. What she told me.
So I figured, I was like, I think Nora was just letting you work a little bit and then maybe you like put on a choke that was like, oh shit, this is tight. I can't get out of it.
Yeah. Sometimes you let people, like if you were letting people work, you'll let them go a little too deep down the rabbit hole. You're like, oh, wait a minute, that's tighter than I thought.
This is what she said. This is what she said. So she was like, I let you go into north-south because she knows I love to like do the north-south choke. So she was like, I let you go into north-south, but then once I tried to get out of it, once you put the guillotine in it, I knew I was in trouble. And she said I really was trying to get out of it. And then I tried to put her in my guard with the guillotine, but she like sweeped me on top, but I was still on top and I still had the guillotine, and then she tapped. So she said she let me go in north-south. But after that, she knew she was in trouble.
She let you get a little bit too deep in
too far down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But so I was still proud though. I was still proud.
Hey, that's still
it's still a win for me.
But you can't go around and be like, yeah,
I wouldn't.
Nora.
I know.
That might be the last time she let you go that deep.
Even after I could tell she turned it up.
Yeah, right after that.
I made her mad.
You gotta humble them.
I made her mad.
You gotta
let them know. You gotta let them know because some people will do that shit. Some people will like, oh yeah, I caught him, and it's like, you're a fucking white belt. You really think that like you caught me? Like, what are you talking about?
I will totally do that, but I feel like I can get away with it because I'm just so nice.
If you're that person,
if
you're that person and you get caught, spreading some shit like that, stand by for the next roll.
Stand by.
But Nora,
because you're about to get hit up with reality hard.
Yeah. Nora is also like we're like a good friend of mine. She actually came over for Thanksgiving and had turkey for the first time because she's from Germany, so it was her first time celebrating Thanksgiving. But I gotta say, like, it's not fun being like smashed the whole time. Like I remember, my first week or so that maybe it was like my first month. I was like rolling with Jen, and she just like smashed me the whole entire time. And then after, she was like, "That was fun." I was like, "No, it wasn't fun. Was it fun?"
Was it really?
I would say jiu-jitsu is much more fun when you're the hammer than the nail.
It's way fun. Yeah,
so,
way more fun.
So like someone like like Nora, where it's like she's way more experienced than me, way better than me. Like thank God that she does like let me work and like get like have a little bit of fun because if not, it'd be miserable for me. I'd be like,
it's not. There's like there's no benefit to just absolutely fucking destroying a lower level belt. Like that's just not. Yeah. There's no benefit to it, and it's not good for your ego. It's not good for their ego. It could discourage them like hardcore. Sure. You could fucking injure them or something like that. They're not getting any kind of benefit from it. Just being like completely consumed. Like a wet blanket. What the fuck do I do? I can't do anything. And there's no benefit to that. No. So most everyone here is like lower level than me. For sure. So I have to like constantly like. I want them to work. I want them to work on their positions, and I don't give a fuck if I beat you. It's like this is doing nothing.
What do you get out of that? Yeah.
But but I know because I'm better, I can let I can put that resistance to where you have to fight through it.
Sure.
And then I'm going to give you a little bit more resistance each step of the way until you get to the submission, you know?
Yeah.
And if you do things correct, then maybe I let it, you know, go a little sooner.
Right.
You know, and it's like, okay.
Positive
like
reinforcement.
They're paying
Reinforcing
attention.
positive.
Positive reinforcement, and which is good because you want to tell them that they're doing it right, so they don't try it.
You know what's
in the
funny
future.
is where I figured that out because you know I wasn't always an instructor, but in the SEAL teams, like
Really?
trying to get SEALs to do jujitsu when I was in the SEAL teams was fucking like.
Probably because their ego.
hard.
You think it's their ego?
Absolutely, it's because their ego.
Yeah.
And you know, so I was like, okay, when I roll with guys that you know I'm trying to get
smart.
do jujitsu, I had to let them beat me.
That was smart.
But like I had to let them like you know
Work a little.
work and get through and whatever, and let them get the submission. I didn't even ever submit them. You
Good
know,
man.
unless it was to the point where they were like,
Yeah.
they were like, you know, at some point they realized or whatever, and they're like, okay, I want to see what you can do now.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
okay, if you want it, then yeah, I'll put it on.
I'll give it. Yeah.
But that was when I took that approach. Like it was so much better. Like and again, I think it's because of the egos, you know. But
Definitely.
But that's okay. I mean, and again, like it doesn't hurt my ego, you know. Like and what are you gonna go around telling? Yeah, I beat Mitch. He's fucking.
Yeah.
He's not shit.
He's not that good.
He's
He's not
like,
that good.
no one's gonna fucking.
No one's gonna do that.
no.
Yeah.
Like so.
You know, every person you're rolling with is you're investing in, right? You want to treat them like an investment. So it does me no good to smash you because you're not going to show up.
We want more people on the mat.
More people on the mat.
That makes sense.
I want you to be better. Eventually, you'll be a better partner for me and everybody else in the gym. Everybody's an investment.
We need good training partners.
But if I'm just running through people like a resource,
No one's going to want to roll
no
with
one's
you.
going to roll. Yeah. And then what are you going to get out of it?
100%.
Like, you know, you're smashing everybody. Like, is your technique really that good when you're crushing the white belt with it? You know what I mean? Like, okay, good for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of black belts, and I try to implement this, like, when I'm rolling. I was trying to get your idea about how you still challenge yourself with, like, lower belts. Because some people will be like, I'm going to work
I'll tell you exactly what I do.
What do you do?
So, you know, and I do this with like Nora or anyone, you know, like I just say like, okay, I'm only, and I'll usually ask them like, what do you want me to catch you with, you know? And like Nora the other day was like a twister. And I'm like, okay, so that's the only submission that I can do. So, you know, so she knows that that's coming. So she knows that like I can't let him get to this position to even put it on or whatever. So that makes it harder for me because like, yeah, like I could take an armbar here, I could triangle here, I could do all this things, but there's only one submission that I'm after. And you know what it is. You know what's coming. So you know what you need to do to defend it. So, you know, so that makes it more challenging for me, and it gives them like it's more of a game for them to like, okay, like I cannot let him get to this position, you know, or like, it was like a triangle from closed guard. So it's like, okay, so like I have to put you in closed guard first and then I have to do the triangle, which it's like, if you know I have to do all that shit, and you're defending every bit of the step of the way for that, you know, it makes it a lot more challenging for me and them, and it's like it's more fun.
Yeah, it's a more enjoyable role that way.
Yeah. And that's something that I can go like hard. Like I have to work now because, you know, and some of these guys, like especially like our wrestlers who are like real strong and athletic, and you know are now blue belts. You know, we have some purple belts here too, and you know, so that's like, yeah, I've got to give my full effort to make this happen.
That's a great way of going about that.
Yeah. So that's what I like to do.
That's good.
Yeah, I knew that because, you've done that to me before.
And like at this point, do you have like certain submissions or things that you're like, okay, I don't do this a whole lot, but I'd really like to implement this in my game? Is there anything you're working on?
I recently started doing wrist locks and toe holds.
Wow, what an asshole.
The dark arts, I see. Straight to the dark arts.
Yeah, well, I've never.
And he's a gi guy, like. Can you do that in the gi? Like, this is what I don't understand. But you can't do heel hooks. But you can't do heel hooks.
No.
That doesn't make sense to me. Like,
they say it's a friction thing because of the pants, you know, like crossing the hip line.
All of the like submissions are harder to get out of in the gi. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. Like because of the friction.
I don't make the rules, but
you know, gi jiu-jitsu is trying to like build their own specific brand and be very good at their own thing. And so if they
it's almost
implement these
becoming
rules-
two different things. Like,
Yeah.
you
It
know,
is.
I watch Will's classes and I'm like, I'm not interested in that.
He does a lot of like that.
it's like not for me.
Single leg into the saddle, da 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 da, da, and I'm just like,
Yeah, right. It's single leg X. He's not doing a single
That's
leg.
too many words. Too many words. I don't want to.
I like single leg X.
But yeah, hey, that's cool.
Gay.
Yeah, good for you.
I'm more like.
He always says, you know, Will likes the K guard. I'm like, gay guard.
I kind of like K guard too. Like Will does a lot of that.
Yeah.
It's like.
And no, but that's honestly, it's great for Will and I because our
So
styles
different.
are so different, and you know it's great because he's like he loves the leg shit, and you know, and I don't,
good at
and so when we roll, like, and you know, and that's all he does, and he's high level, you know, so it makes me because I don't ever train it, you know, it makes me like really gets me a lot of practice at defending it,
Yeah.
you know. And then my style is very different. Like he deals with a lot of because it's no gi, so a lot of people are leg locking and shit like that, and I'm not. I'm and I'm doing like more traditional jiu-jitsu.
Sure, yeah.
And my game is very pressure heavy, you know. So he's not really having to deal with that a whole lot in the no gi world. Yeah. So we make our roles are really fun.
That's funny. Will Lucian, he used to fight for me. He used to be on my fight team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When he was in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
It was him and two other Marines. This is back in like early 2000s. And Will, this shows you how long ago this was because he's
Wow.
what, 189 pounds now.
Yeah.
He used to fight at 145.
Wow.
Oh, wow,
He was
really?
a small guy. Yeah. And he was a triangle guy back then. He was an MMA guy and he fought from the back and did closed guard triangle. That was his,
That's funny.
That was his jam. Now, like fast forward, now I'm like, I don't even recognize
That's
him.
too funny.
Like, not only do I I didn't recognize him when I first saw him after years, but then I'm seeing his game and I'm like, he's doing all that upside down, big guard. And I mean,
Getting inverted.
I'll admit, I suck at all the names of the new jiu-jitsu stuff. Almost like out of principle, I won't remember
Just
them.
show me. Like, you know what I mean? Just
really
show me. Because I don't.
really like
I think it's
traditional
cool.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I like traditional
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu, you know, and that's why like I do the gi and Will does all the no gi shit, you know.
Yeah.
I agree with you though. It's like, dude, I have no idea what you're saying. Just show me. And then it's like, oh yeah, I've been doing that for years.
I mean, I think it's fascinating, but I also look at it like you got to think about jiu-jitsu that you're going to be able to do your whole life, and some of that upside down, bendy, flexy
Yeah,
stuff.
it's hard on the back.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of high-level jiu-jitsu guys have back problems and hip problems because they've been doing stuff to their body that their body's just not designed to do for a long period of time.
I feel like jiu-jitsu is like a full body stretch, you know. When I get done rolling, I feel
Yeah,
like
right.
I feel like I've like, you know,
You did yoga?
yeah,
Yeah, right. I got a broken rib, a broken finger. I'm
Yeah.
walking away crippled.
Murder yoga.
I'm the hammer a lot of times.
yeah, well, he was like, I feel great. I feel all stretched
Right?
out.
That was so much fun.
Just meanwhile, you just
I'm like crawling off the mat.
ironed them with their clothes
one of the
on.
one of the dudes came here tonight for the open roll or open mat, and he was like, "Hey, someone told me to roll with you." So like, they
Was
were
this
like,
Connor?
No, I don't
Okay.
remember his name. It was one of the guys I gave a rash guard to, but he came in.
That
he
was Connor, I think.
Oh, I don't know. his
Yeah.
name. I didn't know his name.
He
But-
wrestled with my brother in high school.
Okay, but yeah, he was like, "Yeah, I want to." I was told, to roll with you or whatever, to see what it was like, and I was like, "Okay."
He's a black belt too, right?
No.
Oh, this
It was
guy's a
it was
black belt.
Younger guy.
This guy Connor that I was talking about is a black belt, but he's a younger guy.
He was here tonight.
Yeah, he was a younger guy, a bigger guy.
Oh, okay. No,
A bigger
I
guy.
didn't get to roll with him.
Okay, you should have, because it was funny. He was asking me who was going to be at the open mat at Fight House, and he was like, "Is there going to be anyone there over 200 pounds?" Like, because I guess he's like, I always,
Yeah, why didn't you roll? Me?
I guess he's like, I always go to open mat, and it's like a bunch of guys that are like 150 to 160 or like 170 or whatever. And maybe you did roll with him.
No,
I would have hoped you did.
The guy in the green shirt with the cauliflower, he's
Yeah,
brown hair.
yeah, that's Connor.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
he's
he
a black
I
belt.
didn't roll with him.
Okay,
If I knew he was a black belt, I definitely would.
you should have. Yeah,
But
usually the visiting black belt will at least introduce himself as a black belt to you.
he said hi to me, like. He said hi to me like we've met before, maybe, but like that happens to me a lot. Like I meet a lot of people, and they're like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Hey."
I wonder if
guy.
he's competing like soon or something, because he's been coming to a lot of open mats. No, but he goes to Tidewater BJJ.
Okay, it's a good school.
Yeah, and he he went to the open mat at Fight House on Thanksgiving. But it's funny because I told him, I was like, yeah, like Will's going to be there and Volley's going to be there. And I think they're both around 200. And Volley was like, Rachel, you told him I was 200. I'm like well under 200 pounds.
Volley's
I was like, oh shit. Yeah, he was like, I'm like 170. And Will's like 180. So
Yeah, he's
I was
cutting
like,
to
oh,
170.
shit.
I'm like,
Will's cutting
I'm like
to
195
Yeah,
right
like,
now.
oops.
I'm like 190,
Yeah, so you're up there.
right now.
You're
Because I'm on
with
day
them.
4
You're
of my.
195?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude, you're huge.
How much do you
on
weigh?
earth- I'm like 205, 210.
Okay. Wow.
Like,
You're bigger than I am.
no, I'm not. I am not.
Wow.
Like that, whatever you're doing with those greens, man. Like I see your weight cuts, and it's well. First of all, you used to cut a lot of weight when you fought,
Yeah.
and people never understood it.
I usually walked around at like 200, 205. Like I'm a little under 200 right now because I'm on day 4 of my meltdown or whatever. And but yeah, I walk around at like 200, 205, and yeah, I was cutting weight. But I'm walking around with a 6-pack
Sure.
at 200, 205, and then I would cut weight to 170.
ridiculous. Yeah, like I remember watching you fight. I'm like, how does he make that weight?
And it's funny, man. My opponents have told me the same thing. Like, when they're like, when they see me at weigh-ins, they're like, "Oh, he's not that, whatever."
Yeah,
And then like the next day, they're like, "What the fuck? Like,
What just happened?
That's not the same person."
That's
You got a
funny.
twin brother that's gonna tag in
Dude,
for him.
I look like Skeletor.
That's genius.
I look
Yeah.
like fucking Skeletor.
I've asked my sister to weigh in for me before.
Really? You have a twin?
But I didn't. No, she's just my younger sister. But I think it was like, I was like so scared I wasn't gonna make weight
Because this
And
bitch is fucking eating Chick-fil-A 4
And-
times
and
a
Krispy Kreme.
4 times a week, and like
The
she's
week
like,
of.
the week of the tournament.
It's the Lord's chicken. It should be good.
All right, I have a hard time with self control, but I ended up making weight. I was miserable, and I
made her sit in the sauna.
and I like literally, the sauna the night before, and like I woke up that morning 6 pounds over. I like went to the gym in sweatpants and sweatshirt, and just like sweated for like hours straight, and then went and weighed in and had a grapple that day. Whereas like it's a lot easier when weigh-ins are the night before, because then I can
she
make
was-
up for it.
She was like
That was dumb.
It was like
that's
2 days
hard.
2 days before the tournament or something.
I was like
and
10
she
pounds
She was
over.
like, I'm like 10 pounds over.
I went to Chick-fil-A
I'm
that
like,
night.
Rachel, what the fuck? What have you been eating? She's like, I went to Chick-fil-A a couple times this week. And I was like, you went to Chick-fil-A a couple times this week? And she's like 4.
That's more than a couple.
She's like, and I had Krispy Kreme.
Oh.
So even and I drink a
big
lot.
deal.
I
So
drink
you
a lot
haven't
of.
cut weight at all.
No, what you're telling me is.
I drink a lot of Diet Coke too, and so
diet.
I was driving. It was like when I had to weigh in for ADCC, and I was like probably about like I was better that day. I was probably only like 4 pounds over, but I had to drive like 6 hours, so I couldn't like cut.
I needed a snack.
And I right. Well, I stopped. I stopped at a grocery store and got watermelon actually because I was so freaking hungry. But I was drinking a Diet Coke, and I called my brother. My brother was like a smaller guy. He used to have to cut a lot of weight for wrestling. And I was like, well, if I'm like fidgety and stuff in the car, will that help? And he was like, no, not really. You're best doing this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, he was like, how much were you when you left? And I was like, I was about 4 over, and I'm drinking a Diet Coke right now. And my brother was like, Rachel, are you stupid? Like, that's like a pound right there. So now you're 5 over. Like, what were you thinking? I'm like, I'm sorry, but like I had to have a Diet Coke.
Yeah, Kenny Johnson was telling me about one of his fighters, this chick, I won't say her name, but she was cutting weight for a fight or whatever, and got within a pound, and it was like, all right, just go to sleep. You'll probably float that pound overnight, and don't drink anything, whatever, and don't eat anything. And she woke up the next day. She was like 4 pounds over, and he's like, "What the fuck did you do? Like, there's no way this is like physically you could have done that. Like, what
She
did
was
you?
sucking
What
on
did you
ice.
drink and eat?" And she's like, "No, nothing. I just ate ice." and he's like, "What do you mean you fucking ate ice? Like?" And she's like, "It's just I didn't drink water. I just ate ice." And he's like, "Are you fucking
4 pounds
kidding
worth
me?
You know what ice is made out of, right?
Ice is made of water. What the fuck is wrong with you?" Like, yeah, but dead serious.
funny.
She ate 3 pounds worth of like
Ice.
ice.
Yeah,
That's funny.
God. Oh,
yeah, ridiculous.
science.
Yeah.
Science is
I know,
important.
right?
Science is important, y'all. Science is important.
All right. This has been an awesome podcast, and unless there's something you want to a subject you wanted to broach real quick. Entitled fighters, maybe? Is that what you said?
Yeah, we talked about entitled fighters. We didn't get a chance to talk about that.
We can talk about it a little bit, just because I try to keep these a little bit short.
I think
because my boy Michael Doe is editing these.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we need to have Buck come back. Because I think he was a really good guest, so I think you need to come back. We could do a whole nother podcast on that topic.
We can touch on that some other time.
Yeah,
yeah. That's a whole thing.
We could have a whole podcast on that.
But well, I want to know why aren't you in jiu-jitsu classes more here?
Because I am injured and about to get surgery in 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yep. As soon as I got healed with this, I tore my meniscus, and now I'm getting surgery in 2 weeks. So I'll
Need
be
some
out.
stem cells, man.
I'm telling you, I could just get a little bit more money in that bank account. Be in Mexico right now.
Dang.
So working on it.
Right.
Put it away.
They're dope. Yeah. I've got stem cells in both my knees. Nice. Works great.
I need I didn't even know that you could do that.
Yeah.
You can if you got enough money.
Shit. Like you said, go to Mexico or go to Turkey. That's where you can get those surgeries.
Anywhere but here.
Yeah.
Because, babies.
Well,
I'm trying to get some pasta. I'll go to Turkey and I'll come back looking like a brand new woman.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Come back with more than stem cells.
Right? No.
It'd be harder to cut that weight.
all right. But,
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, man.
Thanks for
really
having me.
appreciate it. I think this has been our best podcast.
I think so.
For
It's been a
sure.
blast, guys. I
So
really appreciate
super appreciative of your time coming on, and we will definitely have you on again.
Sounds good.
And thanks a lot.
Do you have anything nice to say about me?
Your hair is small.
I'm not even going to say what I want to
Your
say.
hair
Whatever.
is, small. Small.
Whatever.
Wow.
Like that didn't even make sense.
On that note.
Like that wasn't even a full gay. You're small.
Good one.
Gay.
Oh,
That was her just trying to repeat people again.
Your hair is small.
Your muscles are small.
Yeah.
Bite you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Violent Hippie Podcast. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace out.
Thanks for tuning in to the Violent Hippie Podcast. Remember, be kind or else.